Camille Payton Sensei will now introduce our Dharma speakers for today.
Good morning, everyone. The purpose of the Metta, Dharma, Padma, and Sangha Awards is to provide an intensive study of general Buddhism for Dharma school students, Girl Scouts, and Boy Scouts. The students then apply the teachings to their real lives, and we hope will carry the teachings forward as they move into adulthood. I want to briefly introduce the Dharma and Sangha Award speakers that you'll be hearing this morning. Dagan Wakil, Megan Otani, and Brayden Yee began their studies nearly 18 months ago before the pandemic. Despite the shutdown, Brayden, Megan, and Dagan have voluntarily continued their studies remotely. They have now fulfilled all of the requirements to earn the Dharma Award and the Sangha Awards, except one. And that, as you know, is to take their final exams today by delivering speeches on an aspect of Buddhism that is meaningful to them. Because Dagan will be earning the Dharma Award, he will speak on an aspect of Buddhism that is meaningful to him and the values that guide his life. And because Megan and Brayden are earning the Sangha Award, they will speak on an aspect of Buddhism that is meaningful to them and the Scout law. I also want to acknowledge the presence of Scoutmaster Mike Otani of Troop 29 and Scoutmaster Janice Tauscher of Troop 343G. Welcome. But before the Dharma and Sangha Award speeches, we will first have a Cub Scout speaker, Ryan Tanaka, who will be earning his Metta Award. And I'm going to introduce his teacher, Ms. Tara Mochizuki, who has guided him through this process. Just to recap, after the introductions, the order of speakers will be Ms. Mochizuki introducing Ryan's presentation, then immediately into Dagan, Megan, and Brayden. Please give all of them your kind attention. And now, Ms. Tara Mochizuki.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tara Mochizuki. I am a new interim Dharma school teacher. And last fall, Camille Sensei asked if I would help one of our Cub Scouts, Ryan, earn the Metta Award. The Metta program helps Cub Scouts from kindergarten through 5th grade learn about and practice Buddhism. And during the last 9 months, we met for 30 minutes at a time to learn about the Buddhist shrine, the ways of a Buddhist, Buddhist holidays, the life and teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha, and a little about Jodo Shinshu. Ryan taught me a lot about how to teach on a class online, since I was totally clueless. And I think he learned a lot about Buddhism too. Today, Ryan has prepared a video to tell you about why he took the class and what his favorite part was. I hope you enjoy watching his video even half as much as I enjoyed teaching him. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dagan, and I'm a sophomore at law. And today, I'm going to be speaking about an aspect of Buddhism that is meaningful to me and the values that guide my life. We all have those special activities that we treasure, such as sports, arts, or a favorite meal. For me, this is sports. From baseball and volleyball to soccer and basketball, I've always played sports. I never knew how important it was for me until a month into the pandemic. During that time, mostly everyone was in lockdown, so there were no sports. This was something I never experienced. Not only could I not play, but I also couldn't watch any live sports. During this time, I was very lazy and without a purpose. I would try new things, but I would never commit myself because I did not have that activity I could fall back on. I always thought I was grateful for my chance to enjoy sports, but losing it brought a newfound appreciation and a deeper understanding of the frailty of this activity. It made me ponder the complexity of playing sports. And when we look deeper and think, we can see all those interconnected actions that allowed us to do that special activity. The story all started when I had my first soccer game this year, and my team scored a goal. It was a great feeling being back, and for the first time in over a year, I was able to see all my friends. And for that, I was very grateful. However, I want to take a step back and see the interconnectedness and all the actions that allow us to do a simple activity, like scoring this goal. First of all, we can look at all the big events, such as construction workers building the field, my coach, my teammates, and my opponents coming to the game on time and ready to play. But because of COVID and the lockdown, we also needed the regulations in San Francisco and California to loosen, and this cycle can continue. On the other hand, we can look at the small details. For my team to score, we need to pass the ball to the player, who has to use his technique to control it and take a shot. But a shot is not a goal, so the placement of the ball has to be in an area where the keeper cannot save it. There are so many interconnecting factors that go into this one activity of scoring a goal. Another metaphor for this interconnectedness is Indra's net. It is an infinitely long net, and at every single knot, there lays a multifaceted jewel. The light of one jewel shines onto the next, who then passes on that light to another jewel. This light symbolizes how our actions affect more than one person and how interconnected we all are. This also reminds me of another saying that my dad always told me when I was younger. Treat others how you want to be treated. This perfectly explains the idea of interconnectedness. Your actions will affect people. Your actions will affect other people's actions, who in turn will affect you. It is something that has always stuck with me because it is so simple, yet so profound. Buddhists use the term karma to refer to this principle. This is the principle of cause and effect. This means that not only do those events affect us, we can be a cause for those events. Our actions, no matter the size, affect people. The golden chain of love is another symbol of this interconnectedness. The recitation emphasizes the importance of our actions. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds. Knowing that on what I do now depends not only on my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. This section stood out to me the most, and it is something that I try to implement into my thinking process. As I end my Dharma award, I want people to remember that we are all interconnected. When we take time to think, we can better understand our interconnectedness. I'm grateful for all of those events that enable us to have a special activity, like sports for me. But I also realize how fragile it is and how it can stop being a factor in our life. Finally, all these events have karma, a cause and an effect. So we must try to do the good deeds and avoid the bad ones. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Megan Otani, and I am a junior at Abraham Lincoln High School and a Life Scout at Troop 343G. Today, I will be giving a speech on an aspect of Buddhism that is meaningful to me and how it relates to the Scout Law. Every Monday meeting at 7:30, we Scouts are required to recite the Scout Oath and Law. It is our code of conduct, our North Star. There are a total of 12 principles in the Scout Law, but if I were to choose a principle that I find most difficult to uphold in my life, it would be the 8th one: a Scout is cheerful. I don't smile a lot. I should, but I don't. My parents nag me for it, telling me real smile whenever I try to muster a smile for a photo. And the adults in my life say that I'm so serious, even when I'm trying not to be. I've even heard some of my peers call me scary and intimidating just because of how I come off as stone-faced. Even in situations where I should be smiling, my face is blank. The truth is, however, that I'm honestly a little scared to show cheerfulness, especially as of last year, when the pandemic crippled the world and took the lives of millions, my grandfather one of them. A scout is cheerful refers to having a positive attitude. Scouts do their good turns with a smile on their face, and they look towards the bright side of life. If I'm being honest, for a while, I disliked this aspect of the Scout law. It had me thinking, how can you be positive in a world where there are so many bad things that happen? This takes me to my next point, the Eightfold Path. One of the aspects of the Eightfold Path is right mindfulness. Be aware of your thoughts, free yourself of worry, and live in the present. I remember from a young age, my dad always said that the only things I have control over in my life are my actions and thoughts, and I still think about it to this day. Over this year, I've been finding it increasingly difficult to be positive and optimistic, more so than I ever have, with the pandemic preventing me from seeing my friends and dealing with the loss of my grandfather. I had assignments piling up and thoughts about college that felt unbearable and cumbersome, like I was stuck, only serving to make my situation worse. My grandfather was a cheerful man. He didn't talk much with me, but I remember every weekend when we visited my grandparents, he'd wake up in the afternoon and come out to say hello to me and my brother with a smile. He grew up during the internment of the Japanese Americans and was a soldier in the Korean War. Yet, despite all these hardships, he was cheerful. He smiled when he sat with my dog Mochi out in the garden. He smiled when we talked about what was going on in our lives. He smiled at dinner when my mom made tempura, and he smiled in his last few hours, free of worry when my family and I saw him for the last time. My grandfather was a man who appreciated even the smallest of things, like a hot meal, nice weather, and the company of family. My grandfather may be gone from this world, but his teachings and attitude continue to guide me. In memory of my grandfather, I realized that I didn't want to keep feeling miserable all the time. He didn't want me to keep feeling miserable all the time. I went on walks with Mochi and my mom at Golden Gate Park. Being able to go outside and get some fresh air was relaxing, and I enjoyed being able to spend time with my mom outside of the house. Hearing the leaves crunch under my feet, watching people enjoy themselves in the park put me at ease. Hearing my mom shriek as Mochi happily runs through a puddle of mud as the sun began to set and illuminate the trees. Our family also got a new puppy, who I appropriately named Miso, not only after her golden brown color, reminiscent of miso soup, but also from the Korean meaning of miso, which is smile. Miso helped guide me during this time. Miso is an energetic yet mischievous dog who likes to eat food like a vacuum cleaner and steal Mochi's toys. Dogs are wonderful in the sense that they're dogs. They don't have things like SATs or college acceptances to worry about. Instead, they live their lives in right mindfulness, as Buddha taught. They live their lives to the fullest, and they live their lives in the moment, appreciating even little scraps of table food and fully immersing themselves when they play fetch. They don't spend their time worrying about the future or regretting the past, like how humans do. Anyone can be a Dharma teacher, and for me, my Dharma teacher was Miso. Miso brought a smile to my face whenever she was near me, and I felt laughter with my mother when Miso would hop around and steal my socks, and I felt content when Miso curled up in my lap and napped. My worries about school and work left me when I sat with Miso, watching her chase her tail in circles over and over and over again. Today, I keep in mind the Eightfold Path and the Scout Law. I practice mindfulness by focusing on my breathing whenever I am stressed, and I practice cheerfulness by seeking to enjoy the little things in life, like the company of friends now that we're fully vaccinated and walking outside. Slowly but surely, the feelings of misery and gloom started to dissipate, and I, for the first time in a while, found myself smiling more. I felt like the clouds faded away, and it was because I started trying to find the good in little things. Thanks to my unlikely Dharma teacher, Miso, and the memories I have of my grandpa, I feel as if I have a much better understanding of both cheerfulness and mindfulness. These two principles will continue to guide me as I near the end of my youth and start to embark on my journey into adulthood. As I reflect now on how we can be positive in a cruel world, I believe I found the answer. We must appreciate mindfulness and see the good in each day, even in the little things, just like how Miso does. Thank you.
Hi, I am Brayden. I am currently a sophomore at Lowell High School, and I am also a Life Scout in Troop 29. Today, I will be delivering my speech, which is the culmination of all I have learned in order to earn the Sangha Award. I will be talking about aspects of Buddhism that are important to me and relates to the Scout Law. Something that has really stuck to me while I was learning was how closely related Buddhism is to the Order of the Arrow. Now, first of all, what is the Order of the Arrow? When people think of Scouts BSA, they think of merit badges or camping, not necessarily the Order of the Arrow. Well, the Order of the Arrow is the National Honor Society for Scouts BSA, which you have to first be elected into and then complete an ordeal. The ordeal consists of 4 main parts: a night alone, a vow of silence, a service project to your community, and scant or limited food. These 4 parts are closely related to different aspects of Buddhism. When it came to my ordeal, I ate my dinner, set up my tent, and took my vow of silence. I wasn't anticipating it, but as I look back, I realized my ordeal was actually a journey. Sleeping outside, alone, and keeping silent helped me reflect on my thoughts. I contemplated what I would go through and what I had already done. And the next morning, I woke up bright and early to get to my community service project, which was picking up trash along a hiking trail, with other members of my troop also doing the ordeal. This lasted 5 hours and was all done in silence, which let me think about what I was doing currently and what I would be doing in the future of the Order of the Arrow. We ate a limited lunch, mine consisting of 2 slices of bread, an apple, and a boiled egg. While the lunch was far from what I was used to, it was enough to satisfy me, and I was able to complete the project. I then completed my ordeal shortly after and was officially admitted into the Order of the Arrow. The ordeal was quite the experience, and it is also closely related to many aspects of Buddhism, which is something that I didn't even think about until I reflected upon it. When I think about my night alone, I realize that you are never truly alone. There are still other things present, whether it be the microorganisms around you or the thoughts in your head. You can never truly be alone and empty. The vow of silence added on to this. In class, we learned about mindfulness. The vow of silence added on to this. The vow of silence kind of made me forced to practice this, as I was only with my own thoughts, didn't have anyone to talk to, and nor did I have anything else to do. The vow of silence is closely related to what many Buddhists do, specifically when they eat in silence in order to prevent bad speech from coming out. The community service project is meant to represent charity, not in the way of feeling good about myself, but to give back to the community. It is also closely related to the Sangha, the Dharma, and our commitment to our community. The environment is in need of help, and helping it shouldn't be done with a selfish motivation. Lastly, scant food helped me find the middle way, where I didn't indulge myself with food, but I also didn't starve myself, closely relating to what Shakyamuni Buddha taught. It is nothing short of extraordinary that my ordeal, as well as what I have learned in Buddhism, are so closely related to one another. And you can apply this to other aspects of your life if you look deeper. I have learned a ton about Buddhism, not just as a religion, but as a way of life. And now I am practicing a lot about what I learn daily. What is done to complete something may be closely related to Buddhism, and much of your everyday life is closely related to it once you take a closer look. The ordeal taught me that going out of your way to do something harder can teach you a life lesson, and it is closely related to what many Buddhists do. Lastly, I would like to thank Camille Sensei for teaching me all of this, and my Scoutmaster, Mr. Otani. I would also like to dedicate the speech to Assistant Scoutmaster, Mr. Kashiwabora, who has helped me grow as a person and as a Scout. Thank you.
Thank you to our Metta, Sangha, and Dharma Award speakers for your really thoughtful messages.